Welcome to Remember Your Source. I'm very excited to have my friend, client, and colleague, Kathy Flaminio, founder of 1,000 Petals, here as my guest. We're going to talk about some things that we hold in common and how we remember source. So welcome, Kathy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
So Kathy, tell us a little bit about 1,000 Petals and all the good work you're doing in our community.
Yeah, so 1,000 Petals was founded in 2008, and it really came from the work that I was doing in the public schools as a social worker, and also in the fitness and wellness industry, and kind of having two separate careers, realizing one day that, working with children and working with trauma is not chin up work, that trauma resides in the nervous system, like chin down. So I started integrating some of these mindfulness and movement techniques and saw really great changes. So it's been just an amazing journey. Met another couple out in Portland, Oregon that were doing the same work, and we kind of joined forces, and it's been just an amazing journey for the last 12 years.
Excellent. Yes. And I know I've been part of that journey for the last, I think, 5 years with you and watching your business grow and expand. So we're going to have a nice dynamic dialogue using the game.
Yes.
In cards, the Your Wise Move game. And but before we do this, I just want to take a moment of pause and welcome in a moment of gratitude for being here at this time, listening into a deeper place. When we listen into a deeper place, we can renew our hearts, we can see the bigger picture, we can feel a forward movement, and we can feel peaceful in all ways. You want to talk about how you remember source, and when I speak about source, I'm talking about that light, that inspiration that keeps you focused and aligned and moving forward. Any thoughts?
Well, I think, the good thing about the work that I do is like the work is about staying connected to source, like the work that we teach. And actually, I shouldn't even say teach, the work of remembering, because it's already there, is really remembering that deep connection to yourself. And so the work that we do is how we facilitate this is through tools, tools of breathing. I know many people, when they know me, they know the breathing ball. So really getting connected to our breath. I mean, I would say that's the number one thing. We start all meetings, we start all work with children. And so really getting our connection with breath, that connects us to source. And really, I mean, I've been really getting meticulous about what it means to stay connected in the work that we do, how important it is to fill up our own energy. And we do that, I do that through the senses. So I'm very meticulous in my routine of connecting to my senses and to the present moment. Excellent. Which is what I teach too. So I get to stay connected in my work, because any workshop that I give is really about how we stay connected to ourselves primarily. And then when we're able to connect to ourselves, we're able to connect with others. And understanding that deep connection. So I feel very fortunate, because the work that I do and that I teach is all about connecting to source.
Yes, excellent. So here we are.
And I just want to say one more thing. I mean, I think the biggest thing is when we say staying connected, it's staying connected to the rhythm that we know is in the world. So the more we can stay connected to nature and nature's rhythm. So the sun always rises and the sun always sets. I was just talking about this today. Like, are we rising up slowly like that? And are we putting ourselves to sleep? So ritual of waking up and having rituals to ground before you do your day, and having rituals to move into gratitude and reflect on your day. I mean, those are simple practices, but once you start to really get into that natural rhythm, I mean, everything else that you do stems from that. And I think that we've fallen out of rhythm, and I think that's why there's so much disease.
Yes, I totally agree with you. I talk about it as move in rhythm with your highest vision. And so the game uses those elements of the nature of life and helps us to stay in that rhythm. So I'm going to pick a card. Describe an event when you were young that was one of your favorite times, and how did it feel?
Well, I grew up in a really amazing family. My dad was an archaeologist.
Wow.
And so we were on the land a lot. And my mom was a social worker. So I didn't fall very far from that tree because I was an anthro major and social worker. I'm a social worker. But one of my fondest memories is really camping in Colorado. And we went out there for 2 weeks in our station wagon with everything there. We had base camp, and when we were old enough to backpack, we backpacked from there. And that's one of my fondest, like, real family memory on just so many levels. The
Um,
feelings really were, I mean, to be, well, in nature and just to be connected to each other. We didn't have electronics there, so we literally were playing games at night. So the feeling was just this deep connection to the land and then connection to one another. We were around the campfires. We'd get up in the morning and have a fire to make breakfast. It
and
was really
what,
wonderful.
in this day and age now, so many things are getting in the way, as you know, and why you're teaching body awareness within schools. So what is getting in the way in our world right now?
Because we're a do more, be more, have more world. I think what we are really reinforced, especially women, to be multitaskers, and I'm one of them. I say I'm the most mindful and mindful person you'll meet. I've really had to train myself that, one thing at a time, that slower is better, that we want to go deeper with these concepts. I mean, the concepts we're teaching in the school it's like grandma's wisdom. I mean, it's slow, it's connected to rhythm and nature. And our world, I mean, unfortunately, is just, we think the more you have and the more you do, you get merit for that. And you get merit for like knowledge, but not, the wisdom is your knowledge and action. And that's, so we're like pouring information into people. We have more knowledge than we could ever need. It's just, we're not using the knowledge into smart action.
That's why this game is called Your Wise Move.
Yeah, and I believe, I mean, we're on the exact same page, because I believe it's the mindfulness, it's the awareness that allows us to take what we know and put it into our actions that are responsive and connected. We're heading into a new era right now where people really realize, like, our body can heal through our foods.
Yeah.
Like, and we can do a lot with our breath work, and we have the innate healing inside. And so I think it's in the next, 20 years, 30 years, we're going to see a lot of change on our own, because we do have everything we need.
You have it all
And
inside.
that connection with community, I mean, it's just all of those pieces. And that's really the basis of my work, really, is to kind of revolutionize education in this way,
Yes.
that we have our resources inside.
Move it. Then, in remembering our source, we go into that next phase, the water phase, the open phase, where we listen at a deeper level. This question is great for you, because how do you lead others in that awakening, that ah chant, that ah moment of awesomeness, of awareness? The ah is that sound of all creation.
Yeah. Um, Part of it is that I lead with my own self. I use my body in my work, and I walk my walk in full authenticity. And so, being vulnerable and really living what I do in all of its amazingness and messiness. And so, and then providing that space and holding that space, because I can show up authentically and share, holding a very nice container for people to go in, that safety for them to do their work.
So I know, Kathy, you do this so well. Would you lead us in a little bit of a sound of creation or meditation that connects us all? Go ahead.
All right. Well, the first thing I always say, and I don't know where I got it from, I got it from somebody, about, is just be where your feet are. So we can just find our feet on the earth and connect. We love to use this chime. So why not, wherever you're at right now, if you like to close your eyes, you can, or just bring your gaze down, and I'll ring the chime. We'll follow that chime in, and then we'll just notice what we're hearing in our space. And then you just connect to your breath. So you just notice how you're breathing. And then we breathe together. So we breathe, we notice and honor where we're at, and then we'll breathe together. We'll just take 3 breaths together. So breathing in, and breathing out. Breathing in and out. One more time. And then we take a moment just to notice. So I feel like these simple exercises are just so profound in that in that really that human connection of just breathing together. I really believe that healing that one human being can recognize the other human being and be in that same space, you know. So we can't, you know, I have lots of toys because I work with kids, many of you probably that know me, but you know, like a glitter ball is just such a great example. Like, Julie, I can't connect with you fully if I'm like this, but if I take a moment to clear and pause, and I can do this in the middle of chaos. It's not when I'm in a quiet space. I train my body to be in complete chaos and find that center.
It's
And
true.
then see that if this starts to get clear, like I'm going to be able to see you for you, not for what mess I have in my head. And that recognition is where the healing happens. I tell teachers all the time, you know, it's this recognition that kids feel seen and heard and understood and held.
And the recognition, it comes from that place of that body wisdom of knowing in our body, having that memory of being calm, having all that snow melt, and having a moment of pause where we can feel ourselves. So what you just let us all in that breathing, made me connect more with my body in this moment.
I mean, I've taken a long time to, I'm really good at morning routines and connecting to source, and I'm not as good at, I haven't been as good as with nighttime. And I feel like with my work and the energy I put out into the world, it's just so critical that I'm putting things down to rest. And I just realized, like, the candle, I just light it. Even if I only have 1 second, I light it and I blow it out. But it signifies gratitude. It signifies kind of reflecting on the back. And it also signifies like what I'm going to let burn away so I can sleep and put to rest. And, you know, it's these simple practices when done with consistency that it's just like the sun rises and the sun sets. So if we don't put ourselves in rhythm like that, then we get out of rhythm. So that's a nighttime routine. And I I mean, the senses are where it's at. What are you seeing? You know, what are you hearing? What are you tasting? What are you touching? What are you smelling? To keep bringing you back to the present moment, because that is the connection to source. Excellent. Is the present moment awareness.
So we go to the third phase.
Yeah.
Out, how would you describe your vision moving forward?
God, I mean, our vision is really to root the, you know, mindfulness and movement into the hearts of our communities. It really is to make these practices, you've helped me with that vision, really make these practices really accessible and really embedded into cultures. Today we were just talking about Brené Brown talking about what is culture, and it's just the way we do things. So I want this to be the way we do things, that days are started off slower with kids. They're given breaks throughout the day. We understand the science about our bodies, so we can understand the brilliance of how kids are showing up. If they are doing things that are looking really dysregulated, to have a new lens to empower children that they're just perfect how they are, and we're going to be a partnership in their learning, physically, emotionally, and mentally. So we really want to, people use these terms all the time. We're teaching to the whole child, but my vision is that we really are, that we honor that physical and mental and emotional, all those three, you know, in perfect alignment, and that we're teaching all those three components.
I love it. I love it. And who doesn't want their child to feel this and feel more connected to nature and be more in rhythm with themselves, with the earth, and with the world. So by modeling this together, we strengthen our energy and bring out the wisdom, and why I wanted to invite you on the show. And I'm just so grateful to have you here. And there's more discussions to have. For now, we'll pause. I look forward to having you again, Kathy.
And I'm so grateful. I mean, it's people like you that help me clarify my vision. I mean, so that's just been so helpful to have the partnership.
Yeah, excellent. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.